CTV News with Sarah Freemark.
Our message is simple, and that's to just drive safe and drive smart.
The unofficial long weekend is approaching, and drivers are being urged to pack their patience. Thanks for joining us. With school coming to an end and the unofficial Canada Day long weekend now on the horizon, the roads, they're expected to be busier. CTV's Christian Avino chatted with OPP a little earlier today. Joins us live tonight along Highway 400 here in Barrie. Christian, what can we expect this weekend?
Well, Sarah, it's already a busy drive along Highway 400 North, and it's only expected to get a whole lot busier by the time the weekend rolls in. Now, what we won't see is an official OPP blitz, but that doesn't mean we won't see increased levels of enforcement on Ontario roadways, with police urging drivers to remain cautious or risk facing the consequences.
Thousands expected to hit the roads for the unofficial Canada Day long weekend. And thousands more children to be free from school as the last day draws closer. A recipe that signals the summertime is well and truly here.
So you can expect to see, an increased presence of traffic enforcement on our major roadways.
An unofficial OPP blitz urging caution for those visiting family and friends or getting away for the weekend, with officers on the lookout for
speeding, improper passing, impaired driving, whether that's alcohol or cannabis consumption.
Distracted driving and improper seatbelt wear also being monitored by officers. With 382 people killed on OPP patrolled roadways last year, the vast majority of those killed due to poor or careless decisions and actions behind the wheel and in passenger seats, according to police. Among last year's 344 fatal collisions, 95 fatalities were caused by speed, and 80 of the deaths involved an inattentive driver. 53 fatalities were linked to alcohol consumption and or drug use, and police say the attitude among drivers that wearing a seatbelt is a personal choice cost 60 unbuckled drivers and passengers their lives.
We do see tragic incidences where people pass away as a result of a collision, and that's why we're out here doing proactive enforcement, trying to get those aggressive and speeding motorists to slow down, as well as impaired drivers, of course, get them off the roadway.
And it's not just on the roads, but on waterways too, where you can expect to see police making waves. OPP urging boaters to take extra precautions and use life-saving gear like life jackets.
There's no sense in risking your safety or the safety of your loved ones.
And a reminder, the same rules do apply for impaired driving on boats, with police patrolling the waterways for those under the influence of alcohol and cannabis. Reporting live along the 400, I'm Christian Davino. Sarah, I'll send it back to you.
Okay, thanks for that, Christian. And our region can expect to see beaches packed with swimmers and our waterways lined with boats of all kinds this weekend, meaning the risk for accidents is heightened. And although police will be on the waterways, as we just heard, we're also reminded that safety is the responsibility of the public.
Our most recent drowning research shows that in 100% of the drowning deaths in children under 5, supervision was either absent or distracted. That is an alarming statistic for us. That means that parents may have looked away for just a split second, because drowning happens very quickly and is actually silent often.
And I'll have a full conversation with the Life Saving Society a little later in the newscast, including whether the color of a swimsuit or even a life jacket could make a difference in keeping an eye on our loved ones. Let's get right into our first look at weather. Case, can you give us a little hint of what we can expect this weekend?
Well, it's early, but let's get to it and let's talk about the oppressive heat. Oh, it's kind of lifting, isn't it? Record in Barrie yesterday and a record in parts of Muskoka. So record setting, and this is a first look at the forecast brought to you by our friends at the graveldrivewayguy.com, your local gravel driveway expert. 28 degrees. It's not quite as hot as it has been over the last little while, thankfully for many, right? Yes, indeed. Winds are light out of the south, 9 kilometers an hour. They will pick up up as the evening progresses, and we'll also have a shift in wind direction. This is a look at the temperature as we speak. 29 degrees in Newmarket, 29 in Ellison, 28 in Mount Forest, 28 in Parry Sound, 28 in Gravenhurst. And yes, no heat warning right now, but it is still very, very hot. And this is a look at the radar satellite images over the last little while. And is there relief in the form of a shower or two on the way? There most certainly is. How much of a relief and how long that relief wants to stick around coming up in a few minutes' time when we deliver the full forecast. All that in just a while. Sarah, back inside.
Okay, thanks, Case. A Tiny Township woman has pleaded guilty to stealing another woman's identity to pose as a nurse, even giving medication and vaccines to seniors. CTV's Mike Arcelides has the latest on the case against the alleged serial scammer.
Haley Roberts left her lawyer Mitch Eisen's Barrie office, barefoot and in no mood to talk. Roberts admitted to forging documents and assault when she pretended to be a qualified nurse, stealing the identity of another woman to illegally work in long-term care homes in Midland, Elmvale, and Stayner during the pandemic, starting in 2020. Roberts pleading guilty to 9 counts, including using forged documents, fraud under false pretenses, impersonation for financial gain, and assaulting seniors when she used needles to administer medicine and vaccines to 58 patients. The court heard Roberts assume the identity of a nurse with a similar name, telling employers she was certified to work in long-term care homes as a nurse. Roberts admitted to forging vulnerable sector checks and qualifications. In some cases, the homes caught on immediately and fired her. Roberts worked in 6 homes over 4 years and fraudulently made more than $118,000. The court heard Roberts had an existing warrant out for her arrest for stealing another person's identity. Unsuspecting co-worker and friend Maddie Teixeira.
Terrifying to work beside somebody that wasn't a nurse. It's crazy that she got away with it for so long.
How is anybody supposed to trust our healthcare system when people like that slip through the cracks?
Her former friends say Roberts faked having brain cancer, and at least 2 men told CTV News Roberts pretended to be pregnant and forged their signatures before stealing thousands of dollars from their bank accounts.
All this one.
A former Barrie landlord told CTV News Roberts moved into a rental property and illegally squatted in the home for a year, starting in 2019.
Haley.
The Landlord-Tenant Board and Small Claims Court ruled in the landlord's favor, awarding her about $62,000. She said Roberts hasn't paid her a penny. Her victims hoping justice is finally served.
She needs to actually get in trouble for this for once. She has never gotten in trouble. She has talked her way out of everything, and enough is enough.
Roberts' matter returns to a virtual Collingwood courtroom in August to set a date for her sentencing hearing. Mike Arcelides, CTV News, Barrie.
1 person has died and 2 others are injured after a multi-vehicle collision in Newmarket today. As seen here, it involved 3 vehicles, including a dump truck, a tractor trailer, and a car, and happened in the area of Davis Drive West and Dufferin Street just after 10 a.m. York Regional Police say the cause of the crash is still unclear, but they are appealing for witnesses. Road closures are still in effect this hour, with all lanes still blocked. And a vehicle fire shut down Muskoka Road 118 on Tuesday night. Crews from Milford Bay and Port Carling responded to the scene, quickly bringing the flames under control. No injuries were reported, and the road has since reopened. Southern Georgian Bay OPP have taken drugs and weapons off the streets after an investigation led to multiple raids. With help from several units, including canine and tactical teams, officers seized crystal meth, cocaine, opioids, brass knuckles, ammunition, and cash. This was on June 18th. A 34-year-old from Penetanguishene is facing multiple charges, including unauthorized possession of a weapon and possession with the purpose of trafficking. OPP is investigating an alleged armed robbery at a jewelry store in Collingwood. In a post that was shared by DC Taylor Jewelers on Hurontario Street, a group of masked suspects used tools to break in around 5 p.m. on June 20th. Officials say the suspects made off with stolen merchandise before fleeing by car. The investigation is ongoing, but as a precaution, the store says it will only be open for appointments for now. And Justice Minister Sean Fraser announced that the Liberal government will table a new crime bill this fall. The bill would crack down on organized crime, human trafficking, home invasions, and car theft. The plan includes tighter bail rules, tougher sentences for repeat car thieves, and even consecutive jail time in serious cases. It's the latest move after years of conservative criticism that the Liberals have been too soft on crime. And the Prime Minister is heading back to Ottawa after a big pledge on the world stage. In the Netherlands, Canada committed to nearly doubling its defence spending to align with NATO allies. CTV's Jeremy Charon is in The Hague with more.
Thank you very much. A highly anticipated historic sit-down for the NATO alliance started today with a clear message from Secretary General Mark Rutte.
For too long, one ally, the United States, carried too much of the burden of that commitment. And that changes today. President Trump, dear Donald, you made this change possible.
That has been Donald Trump's pitch as he drove the charge to increase the alliance's defense spending pledge.
NATO is going to become very strong with us.
Alliance members making official today what was expected, a new baseline spending target of 5% of GDP to be reached by 2035.
This is a significant commitment in response to significant threats to our security.
The fact that we are doing this today, the fact that we're united, the fact that the United States is fully behind this, the fact that we're working together is going to reduce the threat environment 10 years from now.
3.5% will have to go to core defense spending, with a requirement to spend another 1.5% on defense-related infrastructure investments. Carney says meeting the 5% commitment would mean earmarking $150 billion a year for defense.
So yes, we'll find gaps. We'll be transparent about that. We'll make up those gaps. So the overall context of the net increase in defense spending is much less than the headline from 2 to 5.
But key to today's new pledge from the alliance, a plan to review progress in 2029, ensuring it still meets the needs of the global security landscape.
Senior government officials tell us they see an opportunity then to address whether the breakdown of 3.5 and 1.5 could be balanced differently, a change they believe could be better for Canada. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, The Hague.
And here at home, the Stevenson Memorial Hospital Foundation is relaunching a historic campaign, marking a major step forward in a multi-million-dollar push to redevelop and expand the hospital. CTV's Luke Samard has more on the next big steps in bringing top-notch care closer to home.
Are a vibrant community. When someone needs care,
Stevenson Memorial Hospital is relaunching their Because of You campaign, setting a bold goal in order to put a new hospital in New Tecumseh. Nearly 150,000 square feet, 3 times the size of the current hospital. A welcome sign to those who work the front lines.
We were built for 7,000 visits. We're over 35,000 in the ER every single year with the same footprint that we were originally built for.
Saying the community has outgrown the current space.
We are still doing hallway medicine, which is not great for privacy or for care. It doesn't allow for private conversations between patients and families and physicians.
The Because of You campaign has been relaunched in an effort to streamline the fundraising for a new hospital, with a total cost now more than $400 million. With that, the fundraising goal doubling to $80 million.
We want to stay focused on the $80 million. We want to get as many supporters, big or small, involved, engaged, asking people to be part of this newer vision.
A brand new goal, a brand new design, with plans including 47 private rooms in the hospital.
What else is different is that our new volunteers, there's new donors. The momentum on this campaign is just building and keeping going.
The province paying 90% of the bill, leaving the community to fundraise the rest.
Hospitals are a part of the critical DNA in a local healthcare ecosystem. And from that, you get the doctors, the frontline staff, the family health teams, the support.
MRI machines, CAT scanners, and more diagnostic equipment, all part of the plan if the community can raise enough.
Whether it's from lemonade stands, kids are bringing in their $5 that they're getting for their birthdays, or the big donors. Every single dollar has accounted for something new for our hospital.
Wednesday's relaunch raised $7 million to help kickstart the campaign. If the fundraising does reach its target, construction could start as early as spring 2026 in hopes of opening a brand new hospital in 2029. Luke Samard, CTV News, Alliston.
Well, as students prepare to wrap up the school year, for many, this was their first without access to their cell phones. CTV's Scott Lightfoot has more on how teachers and students handled the change.
It is the last day of school at Humberside Collegiate Institute, and as students sign yearbooks before starting their summer, they're reflecting on their first year without having their cell phones in the classroom.
It was definitely a change because since grade 9 we've been using our phones a lot for school, even when we're not supposed to.
Starting last September, students across the province were prohibited from using their phones during class time. Inside this school, there is signage with clear direction, holders for phones in some of the classrooms, and locked charging stations in the hallway, an effort to keep the kids' attention on the subject being taught.
For the first few months, it was pretty difficult adjusting to it, but then I got pretty adjusted to it, and I actually really enjoy it now.
I mean, in all honesty, we all rely on our phones, so I guess it was a pretty big change at the beginning, but I kind of got adjusted to it, and now I don't even think about reaching for my phone during classes. I'm kind of used to it.
Well, we knew it was a culture shift for everyone.
Claudine Terrell is the school's principal. She says staff noticed students were more focused during class. She also says they noticed a behavioral shift because the new rules also blocked sites like Snapchat, TikTok, and Instagram from school Wi-Fi.
We saw definitely a decrease in incidences that apply to social media. So last year we had a lot of online cyberbullying. We had a lot of incidences where people were putting things on social media that were inappropriate, and that was reduced drastically this year.
High school students can still access their phones during breaks and outside of class time, and if they use their own data, they can still access social media. But some students say they feel the restrictions change their school experience for the better.
Social media is a huge part of our lives, and teenagers especially. So knowing that we kind of have to take a step away from that, I also think it's important for students to kind of interact in person, not only on social media. So I do think it's beneficial.
When the students return in the fall, the rules will remain in place. But as for whether they will spend less time on their phones this summer, having seen that it's possible.
Honestly, no. I would like to say yes, but it's a no.
Scott Lightfoot, CTV News.
And after 25 years of passion, partnership, and perseverance, one of Simcoe County's most notable lookouts is officially open.
Welcome to Weeduck Dadawin.
Weeduck Dadawin, the new heritage and tourism site, is built on the grounds of a former landfill and celebrates community collaboration and Indigenous history. The must-see destination features gathering spaces, Indigenous plantings, storyboards, and a striking bronze sculpture, all representing the themed message of working together and helping one another.
What an incredible day to stand here together and mark the official opening of Weeduck Dadawin.
We look out over here. We have all of our relatives out there, the animals, the plants, you know, the sun, the sky. Everything is so beautiful.
This is an important site for you and your family to come and familiarize yourself. You're going to learn a lot about yourself. You'll see yourself depicted in the faces of those two figures in the icon, and read the storyboards in English and Ojibwe and get a better understanding of the culture and our history, our rich history.
The lookout site is more than just great views. It's a hub of cultural significance that hopes to be a countrywide gathering place. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, coming up, filling the air with the sound of music. This popular park tradition returns to Bradford, West Gwillimbury, when you can catch the next show. Plus, receiving one of the highest honors in Canada, a local photographer is sharing her mother's story of homelessness to inspire others. Stay with us. You're watching CTV News Barrie. Thanks for staying with us. Local photographer Leah Denbach has been recognized by the Governor General for outstanding service to Canada, spotlighting homelessness through her powerful project, Humanizing the Homeless. She's published 4 books now in her Nowhere to Call Home series, sharing stories and portraits of homeless people she photographed from her trip around the world. Leah began her mission a decade ago, inspired by her mother, Sarah, who was once homeless in Calcutta before being rescued by none other than Saint Mother Teresa.
I think my mother's story has been a big push and draw on me being so passionate about this subject, and Mother Teresa has also become a really big inspiration for my life and my project especially. For example, her quote that says, "If we judge people, we have no time left to love them."
Leah will receive the decoration, the highest honor in our country, from the Governor General at a ceremony in Ottawa in the coming months. Bradford, West Gwillimbury's new public square, officially opened to the public last night, just in time for the return of music in the park. Crowds packed the space as a Bob Marley tribute band, Exodus, kicked off a summer of live music and community fun. The project has 5 years in the making, with construction starting last spring. The mayor says the opening of the square comes at the perfect time.
This completes basically our area, our hub. We got our library right here, we got our public square, we got our leisure center right there. It just makes this space complete. It makes it very inclusive. You know, the diversity is going to happen here. We hadn't even opened the square yet, and we already had 6 events planned for here already.
I think it's fantastic. I think Bradford is one of the most diverse communities now. It's a growing community, and it's great to be able to have this space where we can all come out and enjoy it.
The town will host 4 more Music in the Park events every Tuesday in July, starting after Canada Day, and they're all free to attend. Okay, this will surely warm your heart. Kindergarten students at Bayview Public School in Midland got a surprise splash to beat the heat. What started as a year-end safety visit turned into a full-on splash party as the Midland Fire Department crews turned on the hose to help kids keep cool during the heat wave. Talk about ending the school year with a splash. If you are looking for additional information, it can always be found in our website. Perhaps one of your children goes to the school in Midland and you'd like to re-watch that heartwarming little segment. You can find it at ctvnews.ca/Barrie or scan the QR code on your screen. Well, she is a Grammy-nominated, Juno Award-winning Canadian artist that won our hearts in the early 2000s. She's still going strong, and she's coming to our region. More on who that could be coming up, but right now let's head outside. Case.
Like the heat? Well, a record 34.3 degrees yesterday in beautiful Barrie, Ontario. Looking to escape it? You're going to have to go to Tarjuak, Nunavut, where it's 1 lonely degree today. Yeah. It's cooling off. More coming up. You're watching CTV News Barrie.
Picture this. Brought to you by Bounce 1041 and Pure Country 106.
Isn't the summertime just beautiful? We're celebrating slices of summer, beach trips, barbecues, backyard fun, keeping cool, whatever it is. Picture this at ctv.ca. Let's head outside. Speaking of keeping cool, seeing all of those children play underneath the fire truck, the big hose, reminded me, where did your squirt gun, your water gun from last year go? You and cameraman Dave had so much fun with that on the hot days.
It was taken away from me. I need supervision.
I can believe that, actually. Things got a little out of hand by the end of the summer.
A little out of hand, yeah. You never know, though. I have friends in engineering. We can cook something up, that's for sure.
Just don't wear white, Case.
Yeah, don't wear white. Absolutely. It does show, that's for sure. A reprieve from the oppressive heat? Okay, it's still very warm. How long is that to last? Well, let's get right to it and talk about the forecast and what we can expect. Beautiful day. Do you hear the birds singing out here? Lovely, lovely, lovely. And lovely temperatures right now. Summer temperatures. We're throwing in the humidex. Doesn't really make a huge difference today because it has lifted. Well, 32 degrees what it feels like in Alliston right now. 32 on 27. And 25 degrees in the Sunshine City of Aurelia. 33. Well, maybe it is a little more humid than I thought it was. And last temperature, let's go with 29 degrees in Mount Forest right now with the humidex. This is the Almanac, 28 and 19 degrees, a record 35 degrees back in 1952, and record cool nowhere close to Tarjuak at 3.4 degrees in 2004. Sunrise and sunsets, about 15 hours and 31 minutes of daylight. How about rolling that forecast radar, and how about a little shower activity? There it comes from the north, and oh, here it comes. Rain for the garden, rain for the grass. Rain for the scarecrow. That's what we want. Yes, everybody gets rain. This is the Southern tip of Georgian Bay Lake Simcoe. I mentioned a change in wind direction. Yeah, we're looking at northeast winds a little later on. Picking up too, 20 to 40 K. Increasing cloud cover. Slight chance of a shower this evening. Oh, so slight. And then for tomorrow, well, 18 and 19 degrees. So considerably cooler than what we've recently experienced. And the winds, well, they're out of the east, 30 to 50 K tomorrow. Some shower activity. Not a huge amount of rain, but some rain coming. Let's talk about Orangeville, Bradford, Georgina, Newmarket, Richmond Hill, 18 and 19 degrees, 30% chance of a shower this evening. Increasing cloud cover. Tomorrow, 22 degrees, cloudy skies, 60% chance of rainfall coming in our direction. To Perry Sound, Huntsville, Bracefords, Gravenhurst, Halliburton, 13, 14, 15 degrees, increasing cloud cover this evening. And the most rain anticipated for the northern part of our viewing area, 18 and 19 degrees. Tomorrow is what we're looking at for the highs. There they come. And shower activity, yeah, the highest concentration of rain, highest rainfall amounts expected in our northern part of our viewing area. That's tonight and tomorrow. Now, time for the Diamond and Diamond Lawyers 5-day extended forecast. And tonight we're going to start in drum roll, Simcoe County. There it is. Cloudy skies sticking around. The clouds sticking around, ladies and gentlemen. Friday, 60% chance of showers continuing. Just 20 degrees for the high. Then we start to ramp up the heat. Amp up the heat. 24 degrees, cloudy, 30% chance of showers on Saturday. Sun and cloud, 26 on the Sunday, 28 on the Monday with some showers. Humidity's building. 5-day extended forecast, York region. Have a look. Friday, cloudy. It looks like a 40% chance of shower activity. 23, 27 on the Saturday. Slight chance of showers. Sunday looks glorious. 28, sunshine. 29 on Monday. A few clouds. Muskoka, Perry Sound, Halliburton. Friday, 60% chance of showers. On Saturday, it's 24. Again, the heat's building. 25 on Sunday. Sunday looks like the day if you like sunshine. 25. And then Monday arrives in cloudy skies and 27 degrees for the high. So we cool off a bit, we clean up a bit, we shower up a bit, and then we're getting hot again. Summer. South Central Ontario. Love it.
Thank you, Casey. Now, on that note, pack your coolers, grab your crew, and get ready to dance. All Your Friends Fest is gearing up to take over Burles Creek this weekend.
We've got a beautiful setup this year for All of Your Friends Fest with our stage in the background and just a really beautiful natural amphitheater that we have. So, you know, if you want to bring a blanket and sit at the back, or you want to be in the mosh pit and the exciting part, you can come real close.
Setup is underway on the grounds in Oromadante, getting ready to welcome tens of thousands of campers and concert goers for the 2-day Pop Punk Festival.
We were blown away last year. The community with All of Your Friends Fest and this genre of nostalgia and pop and punk, they came so early when the doors opened at 2 p.m. They watched every band. You just saw the excitement in their eyes, and in the campgrounds, you know, it was cleaner than ever. It's a beautiful community of fans that we saw last year, so we can't wait to welcome them back.
All Your Friends Fest is bringing fan favorite artists and bands to its outdoor stages on June 28th and 29th, including Avril Lavigne, Simple Plan, and Rise Against. Last summer's event drew in a crowd of nearly 15,000 people. So there it is. That's your Juno Award-winning artist. Now, that's not the only thing happening this weekend. For more, let's go to Bounce 104 Morning Show host Martin Van Coy. Here's your weekend event listings.
Hi, I'm Martin Van Coy for Bounce Radio, and these are your weekend events for Pure Country 106 and Bounce 104.1. Kicking things off, we have 2 events at Ste. Marie among the Hurons. First, every Thursday starting this week, you can check out Shadows and Stone, an evening experience. Every Thursday, you can explore the iconic location after dark with a lantern-lit guided tour. You'll hear Indigenous stories, roast bannock by the fire, visit the blacksmith, and immerse yourself in this one-of-a-kind historical experience. Also at Ste. Marie among the Hurons is their Hearth-to-Table historic dining experience. Kicking off this Saturday, you can dine by candlelight inside the reconstructed chapel and have a French-style meal from the 1600s with costumed interpreters who use historical techniques. I'm actually going to be at this Saturday's event myself. Tickets are available at EventLink, and if they're sold out, the next event's going to be on July 26th. You can learn more about both of these events at stmarieamongthehurons.on.ca. Also this weekend, downtown Orillia is hosting its first ever food/dessert festival, and it's called The Delicious Days of Summer. With over 50 unique vendors, including food trucks, local bakers, and restaurants, you're going to have a great time. There's also going to be local artisans and plenty of music thanks to all the buskers. This tasty block party is happening on Saturday on Mississauga between Albert and Peter Street. You can learn more at the Delicious Days of Summer Facebook page. Lastly, this weekend, there'll be all kinds of Canada Day celebrations. Victoria Harbour and Tay Township's Big To Do is happening Friday and Saturday with live music and treats with a full list of performers at tay.ca. Wasaga Beach is also hosting a Rockin' Weekend event that will feature over 30 concerts with fireworks, and those tickets are available at wbse.ca. Those are your weekend events for Bounce 104.1 and Pure Country 106.
Season 11 of the Amazing Race Canada will return to CTV next month, and today the 11 teams competing were announced, including one with a local connection.
We've ran this race before, we know what it takes, and we got the best partners in the world this time. Sorry, Brad and Connor.
That is Brendan McDougall from McDougall, which is just outside of Parry Sound. Brendan last appeared in Season 8, where he ran the race with his brother Connor. This season, he's teaming up with his girlfriend Sam May, who was on last season with her dad. Teams will begin the race at Edmonton and will visit the Arctic Ocean and the Northwest Territories. The season premiere of The Amazing Race is July 8th on the main CTV network. Well, could the color of your child's swimsuit impact their safety at the swimming pool or the beach? We'll be joined by the Life Saving Society next, and the hope to equip everyone with the knowledge needed to stay safe this summer. That plus we'll recap tonight's top stories. Stay with us. Recapping our top stories on this Wednesday, there will be no formal police blitz on Ontario roadways this weekend and through Canada Day, but that doesn't mean you won't see more patrol units. Police are urging drivers to be cautious as traffic ramps up, or you may face the consequences. 33-year-old Haley Roberts of Tiny Township has pleaded guilty to stealing another woman's identity to pose as a nurse in long-term care homes. She pleaded guilty to 9 counts, including using forged documents, fraud under false pretenses, impersonation for financial gain, and assaulting seniors. Stevenson Memorial Hospital is relaunching its Because of You campaign to bring a new hospital to New Tecumseth, expected to be 3 times the size of the current hospital and to cost $400 million. The province is paying 90% of the bill, leaving the community to fundraise the rest. Well, as we get into the swing of summer and the weather warms up, more people will be taking advantage of the waterways in our region. But with that enjoyment does come some risks. So joining us now from the Life Saving Society is Stephanie Baccalar. Great to have you, Steph. Thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for having me here.
What is one of the most shocking statistics that you can share with our viewers tonight?
Our most recent drowning research shows that in 100% of the drowning deaths in children under 5, supervision was either absent or distracted. That is an alarming statistic for us. That means that parents may have looked away for just a split second, because drowning happens very quickly and is actually silent often.
Yes, I can remember growing up at the cottage. There was always one adult whose sole job was to keep an eye on the kids, because we're always moving around, going up and down under the water. So adding to that, if you've got families or caregivers that are bringing children, or maybe even several children, to the beach or to the swimming pool, what are some of the other pieces of advice that you would share?
Yeah, so definitely keeping an eye on those kids at all times. We need to know where people are and what they're doing. We use the slogan within arm's reach. So that means if you can't reach your children, you're too far apart. You need to constantly be able to grab onto them should they need you when they're in the water. A lot of parents take the approach of, okay, I'm gonna sit up with a book, I'll, hop into my lounge chair. Especially if there's lifeguards on duty, they might think, I don't need to watch the kids, the lifeguards are here. You are your child's first and foremost lifeguard, and you absolutely do need to watch your kids. Someone, a responsible adult, must have their eyes on the prize at all times.
Stephanie, this may seem like an obvious topic to bring up, but how important are swimming lessons? Are fewer and fewer people taking them these days?
So swimming lessons are extremely important, and we have seen a lot since the pandemic that a lot of the numbers have gone up for swimming lessons across the province, which is fantastic. One of the things we notice most, though, is that people who drown actually don't know how to swim. They're weaker non-swimmers, which makes sense. But a lot of the times these are adults, and these adults have not learned to swim. So what we would encourage adults to do is find swimming lessons near you and take them. We offer Swim for Life, which is our swim program, and it is offered at local municipalities. And our training program delivery partners are wonderful at teaching adults. Instructors specifically learn how to take into account any fears or hesitations, because it can be scary learning something new as an adult, and that is part of the program. So don't hesitate. If you are not able to swim, reach out to your local pool and get those lessons.
Okay. Stephanie, CTV, we recently shared a study online suggesting that wearing bright colored bathing suits or life jackets can make it easier for people to spot you in the water. What are your thoughts on that concept?
Yeah, so we've heard a lot about this, and we've seen different images circulating online. So it's hard to tell with those images what the conditions of the study were. So we can't concretely say that the color of your bathing suit in a given situation, is going to save your life, certainly. It is absolutely not a replacement for learning to swim, and it is not a replacement for that direct adult supervision. So staying with arm's reach and keeping our eyes on your kids at all times. Certainly finding something that's high contrast to the water is not a bad idea. I mean, I dress my own kids in high-vis clothes when we go to the playground and they're running around, just to be able to keep an eye on them. So we're not saying it's not a bad idea, but it's not a replacement for keeping your eyes on your kids.
We'll leave it there for today, Stephanie. Thank you again for taking the time. This is great information for our viewers.
Great, thank you.
I've been speaking with Stephanie Baccalar from the Life Saving Society. You can head to the CTV Barrie website to revisit this conversation. Plenty of good info there. ctvnews.ca/Barrie. And turning to business news now, a 2-week work stoppage that shut down operations at DHL Express Canada appears to be over after the shipping company reached a tentative agreement with the union. Unifor, which represents over 2,100 truck drivers, couriers, and warehouse workers, have not released details of the agreement, saying a ratification meeting will take place in the coming days. The union was at an impasse with DHL over issues of wages and working conditions and concerns about automation in the workplace. And two of Ontario's top award-winning breweries, Sawdust City and Lake of Bays, they're joining forces in a major merger to shake up the craft beer scene. With nearly 3 decades of combined experience, the new team will become one of Ontario's top 10 breweries. It also solidifies retail distribution and brand presence throughout the Muskoka region, with a total of 6 restaurants, tap rooms, and event locations. Moving right into the markets, the TSX was down 152 points, the Dow was down 106, and the NASDAQ was up 61. In commodities, oil was up 55 cents to close at $64.92 a barrel. Gold was up $9 to finish at $33.43 an ounce, and our dollar down to end the day, ending at 72.80 cents US. India, Poland, and Hungary just launched their first astronauts into space in more than 40 years, catching a ride to the International Space Station on a private SpaceX flight. So the 3 nations, they split the tab, with each seat going for a cool $65 million. The mission, run by Axiom Space, took off from NASA's Kennedy Space Center 2 weeks late because of space station leak checks. 8th graders at a London, Ontario school had a bit of a stormy end to their school year when lightning struck during their graduation. Yikes, that was the moment the bolt hit the South Collegiate Institute and cracked the chimney. It happened last night. No one was injured, but the building has been structurally compromised, and the ceremony was moved to another school. All this making the case for an unforgettable graduation. Next, here on CTV Barrie, Team Canada gave it their all in the quarterfinals of the CONCACAF Gold Cup, and it was a feisty one. Plus, the Barrie Baycats, they continue to struggle on the road. We'll bring you the highs and the lows next. Here's a look at your Wednesday night primetime lineup. Highway Through Hell is at 8 and 9 p.m., followed by Criminal Minds at 10 and CTV News Barrie at 11 p.m. Well, after dropping both ends of a Sunday doubleheader, the Baycats rolled into Guelph last night, where the Royals pounced early off back-to-back wild pitches.
But a big hole right up the middle as that one's going to get away from Johnston. Takamatsu will make it in safely.
Now, Barrie battled back with a 6th-inning homer and tacked on 2 more to take the lead, but it didn't last. Guelph roared back, taking it 7-3. The Baycats look to bounce back at home on Saturday. That's when they'll host the Brantford Red Sox.
2 down. And a high fly ball to deep left center field. It's gone!
And the Blue Jays opened a series with the Cleveland Guardians last night. The Jays took a 10-4 lead with a grand slam in the 8th inning by George Springer. They held on for a 10-6 win. The teams continue their series tonight. And a wild, fiery match saw Canada beat El Salvador 2-0 to punch their ticket to the Gold Cup quarterfinals.
Nelson chips this one in towards the back post. It'll drop for Saliba, who drives it in. It's 1-0 Canada.
El Salvador finished with just 9 men after 2 first-half red cards, and Canada took full advantage. They top Group B now with 7 points and now face Guatemala on Sunday night. Winner moves on to face the U.S. or Costa Rica in the semis. You can catch all the action on TSN. And the PWHL held its 2025 draft in Ottawa last night, tapping top talent from right around the globe.
With the first pick in the first round of the 2025 PWHL draft, the New York Sirens select forward Kristina Kaltenkova.
And history was made as 23-year-old forward Kristina Kaltenkova became the first Czech-born player ever taken first overall. It was also a big night for Vancouver's brand new franchise. They used their first pick on 35-year-old Olympic medalist Michelle Karvinen, hoping the veteran can lead the charge in their debut season this winter. And outstanding Canadians were recognized today as they were appointed to the Order of Canada.
Even now, getting emotional. It's not easy telling my story over and over, but I know it's teaching a lot of people about what happened to us and about the Indian residential schools in Canada.
That is a wonderful woman I've interviewed many, many times. That's Orange Shirt Day founder Phyllis Webstad, recognized for her work helping Canadians understand the impact of the residential school system. Also honored Raptors superfan Nav Bhatia for his work helping low-income communities, as well as Argos legend Mike Pinball Clemens and his wife Diane for their extensive charity work. Always love to see that. Case, now we got to get into Get Up and Go before we end the newscast on a sweet note.
Yes, let's talk about that. The Get Up and Go is kind of sweet, though. Let's dive right into it. Brought to you by our friends at Georgian Home Comfort, your local HVAC specialists. Sweet in the sense it's still warm. Yeah, 17 degrees first thing in the morning. A few showers in Barrie, a few showers anticipated. Newmarket under cloudy skies, 20 degrees, and 17 in Gravenhurst. Just cloud cover is what we're looking at. That's the Get Up and Go. And now we're going to get up and spoon.
Have you got it? Oh, wow,
got
that's a mega spoon.
Mega!
So on Monday, when this heat wave initially rolled in, we were talking about our love for ice cream. And one of our longtime viewers, Judy, called me and said, hey, what about Chapman's?
Yes, what about Chapman's?
So I got you chocolate because you said you like chocolate and peanut butter.
Oh, yeah.
But Judy told me about butter tart flavor because Chapman's actually teamed up with the Butter Tart Festival to make it.
That's a fine idea. Great way to cool off, even on a rainy day. Ice cream, love it. Says summer.
Why is there such a big dent in your tub? You were supposed to save it until the end of the show.
This is the biggest spoon I could find in the kitchen. I know it's for salads.
Well, and what I love, too, is you've done many, many interviews with Mark Chapman and the entire family, eh?
Yes. Oh, yes. So thank you very much to the Chapman family. Thank you very much, ice cream. Thank you very much for a summer. It's long overdue. Let's enjoy.
You enjoy. Oh, gosh, a bite that big, I'll let you enjoy. Have a fantastic night, Kate.
And you.
Thanks. And that is our newscast. What a sweet way to end it. I'm Sarah Freemark. Thanks so much for being here. And Christian, don't worry, we got him a tub too. He'll wrap things up tonight at 11. Take care.